Sup guys, it's your boy Justin here with another Fantasy Month review. Today we're having our last book review for Fantasy Month, which is the Book of Free, which is written by Lloyd Alexander. Which this book and the second book, The Black Cauldron, was the source material for the Disney film The Black Cauldron, which was one of my favorite Disney movies when I was a kid. That probably got me into fantasy, which this book came out in 1964. This is an 80s reprint. It's about 219 pages long. By the way, like, comment, and subscribe. So yeah, the book is basically about our main character, Taryn, who is basically an orphan that's being raised by a blacksmith and an enchanter called Dalben in his home, Care Dalben, which is like a smithy and a farm. And on the day that, Taryn is complaining about having to do, trivial chores, he wants to go on a big adventure, and fight the bad guys, the Dark Lord's minions in this series, which is the minions of the Horn King and Aron, who is like the Dark Lord of this series, and the Horn King is like his general. So on the day that Taryn gets promoted to assistant pig keeper is the day that the Horn King is amassing his army, is ready to fight the Sons of Dawn, which is the ruling house of Prydan, which is the name of the land, right? And the Oracle Pig, Henwin, is scared and runs off, and our main character Taryn has to run after the pig to bring her back, because the forces of good need Henwin, because she's an oracle pig, which means she's an oracle and can see into the future, which they need her, right? So on his journey to reclaim the pig, the oracle pig Henwin, Taryn meets up with Prince Gideon, who is like the Aragorn of this series. He also goes on a journey with a girl his age called Eleni. How do you pronounce her name? Oh my god. That's the problem with this book. This book is based off like Eleni. I don't know how to pronounce her name. But this book is based off Welsh mythology, which Welsh mythology is actually where the Welsh history is where the actual legend of King Arthur came from. For people who didn't know. But if you watch Vinland Saga, then they explained it there. So yeah, he meets the niece of the evil sorceress Eleni, teams up with her, meets the bard Fludar, who was a king of a small kingdom but left to become a bard, and he also joins with Dolly, a dwarf warrior who, unlike most fantasy worlds, dwarves can't use magic. In this fantasy world, dwarves can use magic, and they all each have like a magical talent. And Dolly's family has the ability to turn invisible, but Dolly can't for some reason. All of our characters have like little quirks, right? So yeah, they go on a journey looking to reclaim Henwin and to warn the ruling house that, hey, the Horn King is amassing his army. He's getting ready to attack. So what did I think about the book? Basically, the book is basically Lord of the Rings meets the Phantom Menace, but in a good way. The book was lots of fun. Despite the fact that this book was written for a young audience, there are some dark stuff in the book. Like, characters get tortured. people get injured and killed. I have also forgot to mention they have their own golem in this book, a series called Gurgi, who's like half man, half animal. But he's a lot more endearing and cute than Gollum, and is less treacherous. Though Gollum, in a way, kind of saved the. If you watch the Lord of the Rings movies, Gollum kind of saved the day at the end. Though, like what could Frodo do with the ring anyway? Yeah, like Frodo, like if you think about it, Frodo, like screwed up at the end, but like he's considered like the hero, even though like he didn't really he didn't really save the day. he almost screwed everything up, really. But that's a discussion for another day. So I like the book. There's decent amount of action. I like you have endearing characters, and the comedy was cool. Was good. The characters that were meant to be cool were cool. One problem I had at the end, I had with the book, is that the character is kind of immature, like kind of bratty at the beginning of the book, but kind of grows up to be more mature, which I have no problem with that. That's actual character development. It's good to have character development. What I found kind of weird is that he was like the leader of the group when he's one of the kids. So like you had like two kids, which they don't say their ages, but we're to assume that they're like somewhere between 12 or 15, or I don't know, like they're somewhere around that, right? But they picked the boy, as the leader when you have two adults in the group, the bard Fuel there, and the dwarf scout warrior Dolly, right? So I thought that was a little weird. And you also have Gurgi too. I keep forgetting about Gurgi. But yeah, and also I like the fact that the animals are just as important as like the main characters. That the animals are like treated as like important characters as well. Like Mullingar, the horse of like Prince Gideon, who joins them on their journey, right? Who also gets into the battles and fights, which I enjoyed that. It's very like it's based like like I said, there's Lord of the Rings-esque stuff in the book, but it also has like this fairy tale feel to it as well, which I pretty much enjoyed. And don't worry, this is a book for kids. Grown adults wouldn't like this. I'm a grown adult, and I don't like kids stuff, except for maybe like shonen anime. That's like the only kid stuff I kind of enjoy nowadays. I still enjoy nowadays, but like there are dark stuff in the book. There's ultra violence, like a character gets tortured, like is tortured off screen. But yeah, one thing I didn't like, and this is a spoiler, that the main character kind of gets there's a thing that happens where they have a final confrontation with the bad guy of the book, which is the Horn King, which is this guy, and our main character draws like a magic sword, right? Which if you're not of royal blood and you draw the sword, you're supposed to get burned to death by a magical flame. So he draws the sword, and it looks like, from our perspective, that he killed, like, he drew the sword and instantly killed the villain. Apparently, spoiler alert, like I said, Prince Gideon off-screen killed him. And actually saved our character. Our character would have died if he got the sword out of the scabbard, which he passed out before that. So it's like, what the heck, man? They really... Yeah, I don't know if I enjoyed that. But, our character, went through, was kind of like an immature, kind of bad, but like learned lessons at the end, kind of develops, right? Which, a good like a good story should have like character development and our main character learning a lesson at the end. Like basically he learns like not to take home for granted, not to take peace for granted. War and death and all that stuff, even though it sounds cool in stories and whatnot, living it is not so fun. Living is not so great, despite the fact, you know, he made friends along the way. So I enjoyed the book. It's a nice, fun read. 8 out of 10. Alright guys, that's it for this review for Fantasy Month. My next review is Marvel's The Savage Sword of Conan. So, The Cult of Kogafun. Look forward to that. Peace.